Let me ask you something uncomfortable. What if the biggest threat to your future isn't failure? It's comfort. What if the thing quietly destroying your potential isn't laziness, isn't bad luck, isn't lack of talent, but the illusion that you're doing enough? That's the trap. And 99% of people never escape it. Not because they're weak, not because they're stupid, but because the trap is invisible. It doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like stability. It feels like responsibility. It feels like being realistic. And that is exactly what makes it so dangerous. Here's what the 99% trap looks like in real life. You wake up, you go through your routine, you work hard enough to keep your job, but not hard enough to change your life. You scroll for 90 minutes a day, which is 22 days of your year gone, and you call it unwinding. You say you'll start the business, write the book, build the skill, make the change next month, next year, when the timing is right. And the year passes and nothing changes. This isn't laziness. The people in this trap are often busy, exhausted even. They're running on the treadmill at maximum speed. But a treadmill, no matter how fast you run, does not move you forward. The 99% trap is maximum effort in the wrong direction. And the terrifying part is, it looks productive from the outside. So why can't people see it? Because the trap was built by the world around you. From the age of 5, you were trained to fit in, to follow the curriculum, meet the standard, color inside the lines. And you were rewarded for compliance, not for independent thought, not for ambition, not for risk. The system was never designed to produce outliers. It was designed to produce workers. And if you're sitting there right now thinking, that doesn't apply to me, that thought, that resistance, is the trap talking. Here's the brutal truth. The 99% don't choose mediocrity. They drift into it, one comfortable decision at a time, one postponed goal at a time, one I'll do it tomorrow at a time. And by the time most people realize it, 5 years have passed, 10 years. They're further from their dreams than when they started, and they don't know how they got there. That is the invisible trap. Now, let's talk about the 1%. Not the wealthiest 1%. I'm not talking about inheritance or luck or connections, though those play a role. I'm talking about the 1% of mindset, the 1% of discipline, the 1% who see the trap and consciously, consistently choose to escape it. What separates them? First, they are ruthlessly honest about their time. They don't want to say they don't have time. They say, I have not made this a priority. That's a completely different sentence, and it demands a completely different response. Second, they are comfortable with discomfort. The 99% optimize for feeling good today. The 1% optimize for building something real tomorrow. They run the extra mile when they don't feel like it. They have the difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. They invest when they'd rather spend. They learn when they'd rather consume. Third, they reject the consensus reality. When everyone around you says something is impossible, the 1% ask a different question. Impossible? According to who? They do not accept the limitations that society imposes as objective truth. They test them. They challenge them. They walk through them. This is not arrogance. This is strategic defiance. Let me make something very clear, because this point is often softened, and it should not be. The cost of staying in the 99% trap is your entire life. Not a portion of it, not a chapter. Your life, the only one you get. Every year you spend on the treadmill, someone else is building their empire. Every month you delay your goals, you are compounding regret instead of compounding growth. Every day you choose comfort over courage, the gap between who you are and who you could be gets wider. And the gap doesn't close on its own. There is no rescue. No moment where the universe steps in and says, "You've been comfortable long enough. Here's your breakthrough." The 1% understands something the 99% don't. Time is the only non-renewable resource. You can make more money. You can rebuild relationships. You can recover your health. But you cannot get back a single second of time that has passed. That is not motivational language. That is a fact. And most people are choosing not to act on it.
So how do you escape? Not with a revelation, not with a vision board, not with a 3-day motivational high that disappears by Wednesday. You escape with decisions. Hard, boring, unglamorous decisions made consistently over time. Here is what that looks like. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. The only moment you have is now, and now is always enough to take one step. You audit your environment. The people you spend the most time with are shaping your ceiling. If everyone around you is comfortable in the trap, you will be too. This is not a judgment. It's neuroscience. You are the average of your exposures. Change the exposures. You invest before you're ready. In yourself, in your skills, in your health, in your knowledge. The 99% wait until they have more money, more time, more confidence. The 1% invest first, and the confidence, the time, the money follow. You make your goals non-negotiable. Not, "I'll try to work on it." Not, "I'll get to it this week." Non-negotiable. Like a flight you cannot miss. Like a meeting with someone you respect deeply. Your future self deserves that same level of commitment.
Here's the deepest truth. You will not escape this trap by changing your habits. You will escape it by changing your identity. Stop saying, "I want to be successful." Start saying, "I am the kind of person who does what it takes, regardless of how I feel." That is not a mantra. That is a standard. The 1% are not superhuman, not lucky, just decided. And now you have a choice. Feel the motivation for an hour and return to the exact same life tomorrow. Or decide right now that today is the day everything shifts. Not when you're ready, now. Because the 99% always have a reason to wait. The 1% always find a reason to move. You've seen the trap. Now, what are you going to do about it?